this episode of Fun into Flame, I welcome our vicar to ask him the 10 most difficult questions youth face and any other thing that I would want or I'd wish to ask him. Thank you, our vicar, for joining us into this youth segment. My first question is, do you really remember your admission number while in high school?
I don't. I can't remember.
Pasia kumbuki. Let's get to our first question. Our first question, Pasi, which most of our youths, because I did this through research, find so difficult to ask their parents, is when it comes to relationship, the topic of relationship. You being a father figure to most of us, and you being a biological father to girls and boys, I'd really want to know what's your take, and do you talk to them about relationship, and at what age did you start talking to them about relationships?
Thank you. As a father and as a minister, I think this is a key area in our lives and more so in the life of our youths. And one thing we need to appreciate is that children are a gift from God, and the Bible expects that we bring them up in the ways of God. Nevertheless, at times parents we normally tend so much to talk to our children about the Bible and God. And at times we normally forget the real life experiences that they will one day experience or they're also battling with. And one of these key areas that we normally neglect is relationship. As for myself, it's a topic that I normally discuss with my children. And number one, I realize that it's not an easy topic to talk about. But it depends with the rapport that a parent creates with their children. Because if there is no rapport, then everybody will tend to either shy off or draw back when such a topic arises. But it's something that I normally engage them on one-on-one, maybe unknowingly and knowingly, in that at times I normally just address them randomly and ask them random questions without maybe prior preparation. And I normally also ensure that in our discussion or interactions, I bring it up. And so it is something that as parents, we are supposed to be sharing with our children. And as a parent or as a minister, I think it's a topic that I'm very, very ready to talk about anytime.
If you take it back and assume you are 20 years old now, in 15 seconds, what would you tell yourself?
In 15 seconds, what I'll tell myself is that I need to be accountable to myself, to God, and to anyone around me, because that will help me in achieving my dream in whatever area.
Do you find it difficult to preach or doing sermon when it comes to the book Songs of Solomon?
No, because the Songs of Solomon is one of the 66 books that are authentic and that as a church we adhere to. And so I normally have no problem when it comes to sharing or sharing about it. Like there's a verse I love that says that I searched, but when I found the one whom my heart loved, I took hold of his hand and brought him to my mother's house. So that is something that tells us that as young people there is love. But in everything there has to be accountability, and your first God on earth after God is your parent, and that is why the Bible also suggests that even in matters of love and relationship, parents should not be put aside.
Now, as a minister of God again, we having youths that are maybe one step or two steps into marriage. I'd like you to tell me what you'd tell your youth member using two words, who is getting married or who just came to you telling you that they want to get married. What are the two words you'll tell them?
Number one, I would I normally seek to inquire whether one is really prepared for marriage. Because to the youths, when we talk about marriage, it's all about putting up a family and maybe enjoying sex. But to those who are married, when you get time and talk to them, they'll tell you that sex is not a daily thing, it's not a 24/7 thing. And so one has to ask themselves whether they are ready. And in preparation, number one, there has to be maturity. When you talk about maturity, it's something that cuts across. There is the physical maturity. Number two, intellectual maturity or mental maturity. And then social maturity and spiritual and economical maturity. If you are not ready or you are not mature in these areas, it doesn't matter whether you do your wedding either in church or outside there. I want to tell you, you will indeed find yourself in problems. Number two, apart from preparation, I normally ask them to put God first, because it's only God who knows our tomorrow. At times we'll meet a girl or a guy who will come and look so presentable, but it's always good to know that when it comes to life, and for you to enjoy life, people should focus more on character rather than resources or the physical appearance, because there are some people who look good, but in the real sense you realize that they have issues which one cannot put up with in life.
To our parents out there who are afraid of talking to us youth about sex and sex education, what would you tell them shortly in 15 seconds?
To parents, I think we are good teachers to our children. Reason being, these are things that we have been doing, and we also pass through this age. And so I want to encourage parents to just break the boundary and then reach out to their parents, because they are to their children, since the Bible expects that we teach them in everything. And sex is a God's gift to people who are married. And so imagine when your daughter, when you're handing over your daughter to marriage or your son, and they know nothing about sex. Maybe it's something that can spoil their life on the very first day of their marriage. And so the best person to teach them is their parents, because if you don't, then they will learn about it from other sources which may not indeed teach them the right things when it comes to sex.
If today you are not a reverend, what would you be?
If I were not a reverend, I believe I would be a businessman, because this is what I used to do even before I joined ministry. Yes.
And what do you tell youths who maybe don't believe in business, or to put it out straight and cover even our parents? We're growing in a structure that most of the parents believe in professionalism of me being a doctor, me being an engineer, and you come and tell them, I want to pursue this. I want to pursue business in line of entertainment. I want to pursue business in fashion line. And you see most of our parents retract from that conversation. They always want you to be a teacher, an engineer, someone else. You see the big careers. What do you tell them?
In life, we have expectations and there are realities. At times, parents, we need to accept that at times what we expect for our children may not be necessarily what they are gifted in. And in life, I have come to realize that someone will excel so fast in their areas of strength, unlike being forced being forced to a certain to take a certain career course or career path. And so parents, we need to know that apart from expectation, there is reality. And what matters at the end of the day, to me, professionalism is being able to take care of yourself, your family, and the community. So if you can empower yourself and you align yourself with your goal and your talents to an extent that you are not a burden to the other person, then to me you are a professional. Because when we talk about doctors, lawyers, and what have you, not all doctors are happy. Not all lawyers have made it in life, because we also have some lawyers and doctors who are living a frustrated life simply because they wanted to please their parents from the word go. So, and that is why majority of them can engage themselves in activities that are not in line with their professional. Why? It's because they missed it from the word go as a result of maybe an advice from a mentor, or their parents. So parents, let us empower our children and know that what matters is making it in life. And actually God created us and gifted us in different ways, and he expects that out of those gifts we should make a living. We cannot all be lawyers, we cannot all be doctors, we cannot all be teachers. We need to know that teachers will teach, doctors will treat, and apart from that we also need people even in the ministry of entertainment. And it doesn't mean that anybody who is in the ministry of entertainment is kind of loose or has gone out of the way, because we also have musicians who are very responsible and accountable.
You'll hear conversation from youths, maybe let's say youths who are coming from families that have broken, their parents divorced, they no longer believe in marriages working. As youths, our goal is to transit into every stage successfully. What do you tell those people who don't believe in marriages working?
What I would say that at times, a home is like a school where we learn what to take and what to leave. And so to appreciate the fact that God created us differently, because some of our parents' marriage will have failed, but that doesn't mean that we are not supposed to marry, or we are not meant to marry. Because if you do everything that your parent did, then believe me, some of us, we have our parents took their lives. Does it mean that we'll also do the same? The answer is no. You need to believe that, you need to know that God created you for a purpose. And one of his will for you is that you may have a family, despite your background. And actually, what matters in life is not about where you are coming from, but what you are and what you are doing towards your future. And so I want to tell the youth or any other person who maybe has a negative take when it comes to marriage, that remember, marriage was ordained by God, not their parents. Because maybe if you want to go by what your parents are doing, you may, at some extent, you will realize that you may end up disobeying God, because the Bible says that we should obey them in everything rightful.
If you don't know, most of us really think that you're really fashionable or style. You're really style. I want to know what really inspired you, your style. I'll give you one occasion where I really felt like you are. On that day that you were flying out with Mama Sharing. Yes, we felt like you were draped. We call it draped. What inspires your sense of fashion or style?
Okay, number one, I believe that your dress code gives you the confidence, and more so when you dress, or when you dress for an occasion. Because, for example, I am the way I am because I'm in church. I don't expect to be like this at home or in any other function. And so I normally, what inspires me is to feel comfortable depending with the occasion that I'm attending.
I found this church so receptive, and even talking to Percy is so easy, and it's it's not me alone. I can count names of those who saying, hey, design mkona Percy inafanya inakuwa even easier to come to church or to come to him or talk to him. How does that make you feel?
I wouldn't like to take the glory, but one thing I believe that God called me to be his servant. And the Bible says in the book of Matthew chapter 28 verse 18 to the end, that go ye therefore to the whole nation. In other words, there is no way you can be a minister to the elderly and then you forget the youth. Then that maybe means that you are not called, or if you are called, then you have not fully understood your calling. And so I normally try to make it possible for any person, regardless of their status, their age, or even their standing in the society, to approach me, because I'm here to represent God. And I believe that a problem shared is a problem half solved. And so it is my prayer that anyone who steps in this office may find somebody who is ready to listen to. And that is something that makes me feel good when people come to me with various needs. On the other hand, I would say that I can't say that my relationship with the youth is that good 100%, because maybe there are some who have their reasons why they have not reached out to me. But I believe that I am approachable. And number two, number one, I'm approachable. Number two, it depends now with the recipient, because someone might come and they just want you to tell them what they want to hear. That is something that also makes majority of youth to run away, not only from their pastors, but even to their parents, because some don't want to be told. And I want to tell you that in life, however much you are educated, if you cannot listen to the elderly people, if you can't listen to advice, you won't go far. You won't go far. So if you want to go far, please have a mentor. This mentor can be your parent, your pastor, or any other person in the society. And so you should always know that your life is incomplete without a mentor.
Thank you so much for taking this time to talk to us as the youth in this segment of Fan into Flame. I want to ask you, how many times do you write the word Reverend before your name?
In a day or
in a day?
It appears more so when I'm doing official letters.
Okay. And mostly, do you do the official letters yourself, or someone does them for you?
I normally prepare them and then give my secretary to type.
So it means you're so familiarized with the word Reverend. Can you spell for us the word Reverend as we finish?
R E V E R E N D.
Thank you so much, Percy. Until next time.